This is the third video in our series about the basics of Lightroom Classic. In this video, we're going to be looking at how to straighten an image and how to crop, as well as the removal tool, how to get rid of distractions, lens spots, things like that in an image. Something that's really useful in Lightroom when it comes to editing is the ability to crop and to straighten images. Cropping is probably one of the easiest editing things you can do, and it can be very effective. We can see on this image here, we've got this fence here, which we probably want to get rid of, and top of someone's head there as well. And we can probably crop them out. The other thing as well, when we look at this, we can see that the horizon just isn't straight at all. So what we'll do, first we'll straighten the image and we'll see what we've got. So the way we do that, there's a couple of ways we do it. First one is we can go to the crop button here, we'll click on that, and that gives us a crop overlay. That's at the minute, that's rule of thirds that we can see there, but we can press the letter O on the keyboard and we can change the different overlays depending on what we're doing. It'll be quite useful. You can see it's obviously the horizon's way off. So what we can do, if we move down and we just click auto. Now, because it's a straight line in the horizon, the computer can do it fairly straightforward, fairly easily, and it has got it lined up. The other thing we could do manually if we wish, we just slide it around. I'm just going to reset that. Or there's another way we can do it, a thing called transform, which is down here. And if we just put auto with transform, and that straightens it up as well. Transform is really good for things like buildings, which if you've taken it with a wide angle lens and the walls, if they're coming in on each other, you can use this tool to do that. You can click auto and it'll transform it. Or again, the sliders as well, you can slide around to different things. And again, it's just something else you can play with. And as we keep saying, you're not going to damage anything, so just good fun to have a bit of a mess on with it. And you can create some interesting effects with it. The other thing as well, I actually just mentioned once we've got this screen on, sometimes you'll get white parts down the side where there's no data. And if you click constrain crop, it'll get rid of that for you. And it'll just square it off and it'll chop it down the right way. So I'll click off, we'll get rid of that. That's it. So we're back to what we want. Right, so I'll go back to the normal cropping screen there. So we've got it level, we know it's level, and what I'll do, I'll just bring this up a little bit to get rid of that fence line there, and we've got rid of the people that were there as well. I'll bring that across. Now, with the crop, we can have any aspect ratio we want really. So if we move along, I've got original, this is as it was shot out the camera, and we could have square, we could have 4x5 or various different ones. And it depends on what you're doing. I mean, sometimes for things like social media, Facebook, Instagram, things that take a different aspect ratio, so you can actually enter your own aspect ratios in. So if you want to put something on social media, you can have it correct for that. So I'll just put it back as shot. The other thing we can do as well, they're set aspect ratios. So whenever I move this around, it keeps the same aspect ratio. Now, I may not want to do that, and if I just want to make it up as I go along, I could just unclick that, and that means I could just move one side or the other, and it doesn't follow the aspect ratio. So we'll just go back. I'll shot it right. So what I'm going to do, I'll get rid of this piece of fence down here, and we'll have the horizon just on the bottom third. And then we'll just click on edit button, and then we'll go to the image. The other thing we can see on here as well is quite a lot of dust spots from my camera. I really need to get the sensor clean, but I never get round to it. But these can be easily removed. So next to the crop overlay button, we have the removal button. And this is dead straightforward. So there's a couple of options here. We've got the one on the end, which is a clone. So what that'll do is it'll clone exactly some pixels from nearby, and it'll copy exactly onto the thing you want to get rid of, which can work, but sometimes you can get circles and you can see where that's been done. The other one is heal, where it'll sample a nearby area of pixels, and it'll make its mind. It does the same sort of thing as clone, but in a more subtle way. And the third one is remove, which that uses a little bit of AI to decide what it's going to put in its place. So I'll just use, for now, we'll just use the heal button. And we use the cursor wheel to make it bigger or smaller, or you could use the sliders. And we can adjust the feather on it as well. So you can have it where you may want it where it's a bit more subtle. So you have a bit of a feather round if you want. And we'll just left click on the thing we want to get rid of, and it should go. Now, the thing is, sometimes with things like this, with the computer screen, you may not see where all the dust spots are. So for that, we can go down here and visualize spots. And again, I can make this, move this slider, and I can make it easier to see where the spots are. So we can just see some of these dust spots here, which if I take that off, some of them aren't obvious or as obvious. We'll just click on them, and it just generates and gets rid of them. The clone one works in exactly the same way. I'll just put that on just to show, and I'll get rid of the visualized spots you can see, and some of them. And all it does is just does the same job really. And then the remove tool, this takes a little bit longer to do because it's a bit more involved. And let's do it there. So that's analyzing, and then you just remove. Just a bit more sophisticated way of doing it. Remove. Okay, and we'll go around the picture like that. Now, another thing which is really useful. So with that, we just, like I say, you put in the thing you want removing, click, and then it gets rid of it. With straight lines, there's another very useful thing that Lightroom can do. So if I just click there in the usual way, and then if I press the Shift button and click at the far end of the straight line I want rid of, and then that gives you like, I mean, it's not perfect because obviously we've got a bit of the blade there, but it's just to show that's how to get rid of things in straight lines. It's one option you can do. If you decide you've made a change like this and you don't want to, and you're not happy with it, just right click, and then you get another menu, and then just go delete, and it'll get rid of that change you've just made. Another thing that you can do as well, you can draw lines and it'll delete. So I've got a little structure here. So if I just draw a line up here, so all I've do is I put my finger on the left button on the mouse and just dragged it up, and then that gets rid of straight lines or shapes. Let's see if I can get rid of this, see how this works any better. Go down to there. Not sampled from nearby. It's not perfect because you can still see a bit of the bottom. In reality, what I would normally do is if I'm doing something with as many edits on as this, I'll probably go into Photoshop, which I think does a little bit of a better job, but that's a different thing altogether. So I'm not going to confuse things by showing that today. But again, play about with it. You can't break it, as I always say, and just see what you can come up with. So that's a couple of basic things there: straightening, cropping, and getting rid of lens spots or anything you want, any objects that you don't want in an image. Okay, thank you for watching.